You kiss the mic, it's yours. So,
Oh, really? Never
like,
tell.
I'll take some of these
Never
shirts.
tell a musician that. I coughed all over this console, so
just
take it
those,
home.
Bring those U87s back. We'll give those a lick. Yeah. Oh, geez. Sorry, guys. Welcome. It's going to be a wild ride. Welcome to In the Round, a podcast for people who love music and genuine conversation. Join us as we sit down with some of our favorite local, regional, and national artists to chat about life and their creative journeys. I'm Dee, I'm a musician, I'm a music lover, and I'm your host. So pull up a chair, get comfy, and enjoy. Life got a little less ordinary with our next guest, carbonleaf. You may know them from their 2004 hit album, but this band has been playing consistently for over 30 years. We caught them on their I Want to Be Leaf tour, so of course we talk about the X-Files, if you know, you know. We also got to hear about the chance opportunity that launched them into mainstream recognition and how being independent has allowed them to maintain a fan base on their own terms. Here's Carbonleaf. Welcome, Carbonleaf, to In the Round.
Thank you.
Thanks for having us.
Yeah, so pumped to have you here, all of you here in our cozy living room setup here in Studio D. Trilix Studio, we're just so pumped to catch you on your way through town. You're playing Des Moines tonight, which is in the past when this comes out, but you guys tour all the time. So when was the last time you were through Des Moines?
We were here did we play last year at Woolies?
I have no recollection.
Pretty sure we were
at Woolies.
Are you just going to plead
Yeah.
the fifth throughout this whole interview so that, just no additional information? No, okay, Woolies. That was right closer to the release of Time as the
Yes,
Playground,
that was the Time as the Playground tour officially, and this is the I Want to Be Leaf tour, which we're still touring behind the new album. So,
love it.
Second time around the country, but Woolies was great last year, and have hit a few other places in Des Moines over the years.
Yeah.
The maintenance shop and
that's up in Ames. Yeah, that's such a cool
Ames,
spot.
right.
Yeah, no, it's basically the same.
Another place I can't remember.
And while we haven't played it yet, I'm sure that XBK Live is going to be amazing tonight in the past.
Yes, tonight in the past. It is.
Yes.
It is. It's we're friends with those folks over there. They're awesome.
Yeah,
so
looking forward to it. Looks like a beautiful space.
Yeah. I'll be at the show, so I can't wait
good.
to hang out. Continue hanging out with all of you, but so
Bring your keyboard.
Yeah, I should just play. I'll bring something. Actually, I'd have to bring a different one because mine are in the van with the rest of the band. But yes, I would love to do that. I was going to say, I love the name. I Want to Believe. I mean, that's so good. I mean, are you actually X-Files fans? Can we talk about this, or are you just? Yeah. Oh yes.
Oh, yeah.
Okay.
When we were first, I remember our first bus tour. I bought like the first 4 seasons.
Yes.
And
was this VHS or was?
It was DVD.
Oh, okay.
But was like binge watching them in the back lounge.
I'd like to point out that she just called you old.
No.
She's like, is that reel to reel?
No,
You're like, it was DVD.
didn't go that
Jeez, take
far.
it easy,
We
lady.
still drew them
Is that
with
on beta?
crayons.
No,
Which
I'm
the
saying
beta
that's
disc?
how we had them growing up. I'm also kind of old, approaching there.
We had them first transcribed on the cave walls.
There's like a UFO being dragged. Yeah. Well, there's an episode about that actually.
There
I
are,
believe.
yeah.
We could. This is going to be a
I need to
different
go back
podcast.
and rewatch that and Twin Peaks.
Oh yes! Oh my God! Twin Peaks. Well, and you talk about how in your music, a lot of kind of how you write, Barry's cinematic. Really influenced by movies and film and.
Yeah, I was more of a movie geek and than I was a music guy. Like I was the guy that was, making monster costumes and like, I'd go to see a movie and then I'd be like round up the neighborhood kids like, this is what we're gonna do. We need to make some grappling hooks and
Nightmare on Elm Street. Let's do it. No, I'm just kidding.
Yeah, all that stuff. So that was like what jazzed me, and I don't know, maybe some of it rubs off when the guys write, the music pieces. Mine starts going to some different places, and it's fun sometimes to write just songs that kind of have more of a high concept feel than just like a first person narrative love song.
Right. There's kind of the default mode that you want to deviate from, right? Yeah.
For
I mean,
sure.
I would love an X-Files concept album, though, so I think you should probably just get on that. So.
Well, there's a line in one of our songs, Backmask 1983, which, the chorus, the refrain is like, I want to believe, even though like X-Files is 10 years later. It all messes with time, like the whole album references time in some kind of way. And so a lot of it's like looking back as you're kind of, going forward. And so the I want to believe made the cut for the part of for the song. And then when we were coming up with tour ideas, we were just like, I don't know, let's, why don't we just make it I Want to Believe? Carter's like, we should just we should just have a, the X-Files poster, I Want to Believe. And then I was like, and then we got the idea of just like, I Want to Believe. And so we, that was the tour name.
So I mocked up a poster.
We recreated the X-Files poster.
And then Barry's like, no. The image you used was from seasons 4 through 6, and that's not the one I want to use. I want to use from season 1 through 3. Yeah. It's a very different poster in UFO.
Yes.
I was like, what?
Because they had to change it because they had appropriated a photo for the poster, and then the guy that took the photo was like, "Hey man, that's my photo." And so they just made a new one in season 4.
I didn't know that. Wow, that's like next level.
This is all so irrelevant.
No,
to anything
it is.
we're talking
No,
about.
it is relevant.
I have no idea what any of you are talking about.
This is before Jesse's time. So.
Yeah. Oh, geez. Okay. Well, we'll just keep talking about this, and you can tune out.
Just
No,
to put a
I'm just
bow on this.
Yeah.
So I was like, well, we're gonna make our own posters. We're going to make a movie poster, 36 by 24. Yes. It's going to be amazing of the UFO and the I Want to Believe, just like the block font type. Yeah. And it's going to be a huge seller on tour. Everyone's just going to snarf these up and like they're not moving at all.
What?
Nobody's getting it.
What? I'm shocked. Who's coming to see? This is wrong. I'll sell like 15 for you tonight. I guarantee it.
All right.
I'm going to make it happen. I'll buy all of them, but it's fine. I'll help you move it. Isn't that weird though? That's what's so hard about merch. Sometimes you're like so excited about an idea.
Totally.
And then
we made Christmas stockings one year with carbonleaf on them, like the classic red furry red with the white. And we put carbonleaf on it, thinking it was just going to be a banger. And we bought like 1,000 of them, and it took us like 15 years to sell through because you could only bring them out like for like 6 shows in December, right? And then it just kind of dawned on us, it's like, well, why would someone buy a Christmas stocking with carbonleaf on it? What are they going to do with it? They can't put it under the fireplace.
Hey man, hindsight's 20/20, right?
Exactly.
Whereas my mom says hindsight's 50-50. Could have gone either way. Didn't turn out well. No, that's so hilarious though. I always think of like trying gimmicky things, outside of the matchbooks and the stickers, and that you want to do something fun. And then
King of gimmicky things.
Yeah,
but you got to try it. Shoot your shot.
Yeah, right. Well, and we should talk about this most recent album though, because you were touching on the themes. There's of course time is a theme. It's blatant and it's in the title of the album. But what I love is hearing the songs. I believe you said that this was a collection of some new songs, but a lot of things that you kind of dust off, old demos and.
Yes, there was we kind of have I have in my iTunes like a library of stuff that we've written, just music sketches or. Things that need lyrics, and there's like 1,000 of them. And so, every time it's time to go back into the well, there's always new stuff coming in, but I'll always kind of go back and see if I can connect any dots with some stuff that just hasn't gotten to the, front burner yet. And there was kind of a boneyard of a handful of songs that I had kept reapproaching over the years and then just couldn't punch my way into or out of the story for one reason or the other, lyrically or melodically. And so I would just shelve them again. And I was like, I really am drawn to these things. Why can't I finish my thought? And so I was set to do that with this new record because it was, we were kind of in the middle of this weird pandemic. And where it felt like time was just kind of amorphous and just melting into what every day you were just the goalposts would move and you just respond, and so it became disorienting, and I liked that idea of time, kind of like, gosh, we what we have is right now, and you can look back on, be nostalgic, or you can look ahead, but it's like, it's kind of impractical in a way. And so I wanted to use the idea of the new stuff and the old stuff and kind of, tooling them together into a new thought and that became Time is the Playground.
Yeah.
This is what we've got right now is what we get to play with.
Right. Well, you have a line in Me and Mick, living some sequel we will never see.
Yeah.
That just really resonated with me because I've been talking to people about this recently, the concept of you want to leave the world better than you found it, right? But at the same time, if you spend all your time focusing on when you won't be here, what are you doing now? How do you be present in that moment? And kind of the push and pull of that.
Mm-hmm.
And I heard a lot of that in this new record. And I mean, I think all your records, you're so consistent and so prolific. And I find it really impressive. But I love hearing kind of the evolution that was this album. But I love that it was still rooted in some old songs,
Yeah, it was. It was a lot of it was like, I felt like I had this responsibility to this amazing music that we all kind of made at one point in life, and then it just kind of sits there half baked. A really good germ of an idea, and I kind of feel like the deadbeat dad, like knocking on the door and being like, "Hey, I'm your real dad."
Yeah.
And look,
do you want to go to the park?
You want to go to the park? I just, I want to make things right.
Yeah. Oh,
so it was cathartic to like finally like sit down and like, I'm going to nail this.
Yeah. Well, and how was it relearning your parts that you wrote years ago?
A pain in the ass.
Yeah, I bet. It's something that feels natural at one point in your life. All of a sudden, you're like, "What? Why am I playing?"
Well,
it that way?
Carter go through phases where he's like, he'll get a new piece of gear and he'll write a lot of like sketches too with the gear.
Yeah.
And so there's a certain vibe and a certain sound, right? And then as time passes, that gear might like be sold, or it might break, or it might be lost to
the melodica somehow disappeared.
The dust,
Yeah.
the dustbin of history, and then I'll come back, 15 years later, like, I want to do this, and I have demoitis, so I really want it to sound like that. And he's like, you don't understand. That piece of gear doesn't exist anymore. They don't make them anymore. I'm like, just go on eBay.
And off to Reverb you go.
Yeah, right. Yeah, Reverb saves all of
we started when we did the re-records. That was far worse.
We did the Taylor's version before Taylor's version. We did the carbonleaf
when we left the
version.
label, our sunset clause was such that we could re-record and have the songs back. But we were doing Indian Summer, and it was supposed to be like the same sounds, and I was like, I don't even know. I don't remember what I did.
Yeah.
So that was actually harder. Was going back and learning every little nuance of those albums. The demos are tricky, but you can still be kind of interpret creative, in a creative way. But
right, because a lot of times there's still space.
Yeah.
But when you complete a record, usually you've colored in the line. You've filled that space with something. And a lot of times it is like, ooh, I tripped and fell on the tambourine in that particular moment.
Exactly that. There's like one little fill that somebody caught while I was just noodling.
Yeah, and then dropped it in.
Yeah. I have no idea what that is.
That reminded me of the song Roxanne. In the beginning, there's like this jazz piano chord.
Yeah.
I don't know if you probably can't recall it, but if you listen to it in the very beginning, the junk, 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 there's like this boom, boom, and it was Sting was doing a vocal take, and he went to go lean on the piano, but the top was open.
Oh my gosh!
And so it was like one of these things, and it was like this perfect jazz chord that went over it, and they were like, "Well, we're keeping that." And he's laughing,
amazing.
like you can hear him laughing.
Those moments. I didn't realize that. I love that. I love those types of moments. I was in a band early on that a cell phone went off, and so they just put an effect on it, and it became like a kind of sound. And it's just like when he was doing a vocal take, you can't really cut it out. Or it's like we could, or what if we got weird with this? Yeah. Well, and you guys still record in the garage, in the two-car? Wait, what do you
It's
call
a
it?
studio.
Yes, it's a studio.
It's
It
a
was a
studio,
garage.
but it is a garage.
It's your garage, right?
And
Jerry?
it doesn't, so it does have the two-door roll-up garage door, and it doesn't really keep any sound out or in. So when we're loud, the neighbors hear it, but we also hear the dogs, the leaf blowers,
Right.
the garbage
Well, the leaf blower's
truck.
just on brand, so
UPS.
that's fine. But yeah.
all the stuff, going by. So you'll hear birds at the end of the songs. Like it's usually it's the fade outs, the ring outs of the songs where things are really quiet, where you really hear stuff. But we'll stop takes. It's like, well, yeah, UPS guy's coming. We have to stop to take, wait for the UPS guy to leave. And
lawn care guys just showed up at the neighbors. So, all right, we're off for an hour.
We were doing a session a couple years ago, and our neighbors got like 10 trees taken down that day. It's like, well, we're done for the day. We'll see you guys tomorrow. We'll try this again.
Lesson learned, record in the winter, not in the summertime.
Yeah, right. Well, and I'm surprised your neighbors are cool with
Luckily, our neighbors are super cool. They've been very supportive of the band. We're in suburbia in the cul-de-sac, and the neighbors are great. When we were doing live streams from my driveway during the pandemic, they would set up lawn chairs in the cul-de-sac, and
bonfires.
It was really really cool. They're awesome.
Terry's pretty good on charm offensive. It's like he moves into a space and like he kind of becomes the mayor. So kind of preemptively.
Welcome to Terry
squashes any complaints.
Hey, I made you some brownies. By the way, we're going to be recording a Marshall stack for the next 2 days in my garage, and it's going to be real
Please
loud.
don't mow your lawn. Also, for that. Yeah, that's amazing. Well, and because you've been doing it that way for years, right?
Yeah, we started in about 2010. Doing self-recording stuff at my house. We started with the Curious George 2 soundtrack, which we did in my dining room before we kind of outfitted the garage and stuff. We did it really bare bones, laptop in the dining, moved all the furniture out of the dining room and in the sunroom and did stuff, and that turned out good enough. We were like, we should now buy some real gear and
maybe
do this ourselves. So we can,
I think that's what we did with the Curious George money, didn't we?
We bought a real,
Because
I forgot
you
guys did that. You got that
to a
Curious
chafing
George
dish anymore. Like,
it was pretty. Yeah, because it was
room.
Curious George was pretty lo-fi. I mean, we had like rough cuts of the movie, animatics and stuff on DVD. So I'm pressing play on the DVD and the space bar on the record at the same time. It's like that was our sync. It was really a little
crazy. Have you done other commercial stuff since? I forgot that you guys did that.
Not much.
I was like, did you just know a guy? Did you know George?
No, they were using a few songs.
Knew the man with the yellow hat.
We knew the man with the yellow hat. Cool.
Weirdly, our neighbors, as we were recording this, the neighbors heard that we did know George. So the kids would come to neighborhood kids were coming by to see. It's like,
that was weird. Like these little kids. There was like 8 little kids in their cul-de-sac, and they were young enough where they didn't understand that Curious George isn't real.
Right. He said, spoilers. Yeah.
And so they would come in, and they were just so excited.
Oh my god.
Yeah, it was pretty wild.
Yeah. Well, and Barry, I think I read in an interview you were asked like what technology, and this could have been 15 years ago because I feel like MySpace was mentioned, so maybe even 20 years ago, but they were just talking about what new technology do you appreciate, and you were like, a computer, because now we can record kind of anywhere. And then there was another interview talking about there's a Carbonleaf song on a Dell computer, kind of like the U2 of today, but back when people weren't mad about it, I guess.
A guy came up to me last night at the show and was like, I got to tell you this crazy story. 20 years ago, I bought a new Dell computer. I was like, and Life Less Ordinary was on it, wasn't it? He's like, how did you know? I was like, it's crazy. Our record label had some sort of promotion department at the time. We were on Vanguard Records, and somehow they got us to be the demo song on the Dell computer.
Back when that was like a selling feature, like, look, it's this computer's preloaded with some MP3s.
Yeah, and pinball, and all those things.
Exactly. It was just to show how the MP3 player, it wasn't quite like U2 beaming their album to your phone. It wasn't quite that bad. It was just, part of the software,
It's like, here's a widget, here's an application.
Yeah, exactly.
Wow. And people weren't mad about it. See, there was a time.
They were excited.
People were excited about that. Yeah, poor U2.
Yeah, it wasn't like U2.
They got crushed in that scenario. Man, that's so wild, though. And I want to go even farther back, too, because originally you were the first unsigned band to play the American Music Awards.
The Coca-Cola New Music Award was a new category that the American Music Awards was was launching, and they did this big contest across the country, and they had bands submit songs. This was back when like uploading songs was kind of a new thing and took time. And Terry would sit at work at the studio that he was working at the time.
Because we actually had a T1 an actual real internet connection, so it didn't take an hour to upload an MP3.
Like a hard line. I see.
So he filled out the form and uploaded the song because he had seen this contest. So we were like, okay, great. And then
forgot all about it.
Like a month passed, and we got this paper letter.
FedEx.
And
we never got
Dick
FedEx.
Clark.
Had to stop recording because FedEx showed up.
From Dick Clark Communications saying, "Hey, congratulations! We've narrowed it down to 1,000 bands. We'll let you know in a few weeks. We're going to narrow it down to 50." And then we got another letter and said we made the top 50. And then they sent another letter saying that we made it to the top 10. Come to New York, and we're going to do a live competition. And the winner, the three bands we're going to select 3 of the 7.
Top 5.
Top 5.
Yeah.
We're going to select 5 of the 10, and you're going to, from that night, if you're selected, you're going to hop on a tour bus, and we're going to promote this new music award across the country, across these college, just these marketing stops. So you had to go to New York.
Tell all our families and bosses, like, we may be back home
may be
tomorrow.
We don't want to be, but if we
may be gone for a month. I don't know what's going to happen tomorrow.
So
because you were all just working still at that point, right? Because you're
Yeah.
playing music and you've been getting some traction.
Yeah,
I think
definitely holding on, some part-time jobs and all, because we weren't touring full-time. So we went up there to New York, and we made the top 5, and we hopped on a bus and did that very thing. And then at the end of it, they did another competition. Dick Clark was one of the judges, and we won the thing. And then I think a couple weeks later, we flew back to L.A. to play at the El Rey, or no, the El Rey.
No,
the is it it wasn't Man's Chinese. Was it Man's Chinese Theater? Anyway, wherever they hosted the AMAs that year, and just went up there and played a 2-minute version of our song. And
Sheryl Crow and Lit introduced us, so it was really fun. And we just reconnected with Lit a couple years ago on the Rock Boat, and we're like, I don't know if you remember us. They're like, oh yeah, it was really, it's like, you guys were really cool to us 20 years ago when we won this award. And
it was weird. It was just it was them. It was Sean Combs.
Yeah, I remember him introducing himself to me, and now I'm thinking I might have dodged a bullet there.
Rock, Kid Rock, Kid Rock was back there. They had the General Lee back there because he was part of the show. We were like, this doesn't happen every day.
Yeah, was in the taco line with Britney Spears.
Oh my god!
Yeah.
What?
Played in between
not as tall as me.
Lenny Kravitz and Cher. It was pretty.
Isn't it such a weird
bizarre
thing? Yeah, it's so.
Oh, it's so bizarre. But you hear like Lenny Kravitz do sound check, and you're like, where are all those vocals coming from? Where are those keyboards coming from? And you're like, oh, they got tracks.
They
we
got
sounded
tracks.
we sounded so naked.
I know, man.
Compared to everybody else.
I think I breathed like once during that whole 2 minutes. I was like,
It's such a weird thing to be, because they all still act like kind of normal people to a sort of.
Yeah.
And then, but then, they get up on stage and you're like, oh my God, that's the song, or that's, yeah. It's always weird to get that taste. But that kind of sent you guys into, then you got signed. And
It definitely jump-started things.
Yeah.
We came home and immediately we're like FedExing packages. Like, we were our own record label at the time. So we were...
And you still had still had Tower Records and all that. And so we were like, shipping stuff around.
Everything was sold out everywhere.
But we still didn't have did we have a manager? I don't know. We were still doing a lot of stuff ourselves, just trying to get it going. And that did, that story did help with some radio. Some people picked up the story because the song that we played on, it was an unsigned new music award, and so the song we played wasn't on the radio or anything like that. And so some stations started spinning it because of that story, and it actually started gaining traction. So it actually happened that organically was just mind-blowing, you know.
Yeah.
So, you know, first unsigned band to play on the American Music Awards. We had a song on certain radio stations that wasn't on a label.
And was doing well.
Yeah.
And so, you know, it did jumpstart. It got some notice with some, you know, a label, and we did a 3-album deal with them. And the first album that we released through them, we had already recorded on our own with our own money.
Oh.
And they just licensed it.
Interesting.
So
Funny story. That was the Boxer also won a Pontiac Vibe contest. I was entering all the contests at the time. So we won this contest for the Pontiac Vibe, and the Boxer was used in this commercial, and they gave us some money, and we used that money to make Indian Summer, which would then
go to
around.
radio and did well.
Yeah.
So yeah, I think, you know, it wasn't like all of a sudden we're at the AMAs and we're famous, but it was like, because we've been around long enough to know, like, hey, I think we have like a week of marketing for this.
Yeah.
And and then we're just on our own.
Yeah.
And you know, there'll be a wave of people that come in and are interested, but it's going to go nowhere. So let's just do what we know how to do, grind and build a tour, you know, follow-up tour, and, you know, all of that. And that's what we did. And you know, it kind of, you know, got us to the next spot, which I would say was kind of giving us a national touring opportunity.
Right. We want to thank our episode sponsor, Uptempo Music. It's a great spot whether you're a beginner or a gigging musician. They've been in business for over 23 years in Beaverdale, so come check them out. Looking for holiday ideas? Give the gift of music. Shop Uptempo's selection of instruments and accessories, or grab a gift card for that musician who seems to have everything. Happy holidays. Yeah. Did you know when you recorded Indian Summer that it would be such, like, just taken over like that? I'm always curious about this, especially when you have a big hit like Life Less Ordinary, you know, specifically just being on rotation all the time. Was that the song that you would have picked off that album to be the song?
Yeah, I think Life Less Ordinary kind of, you know, was the natural choice, and that song came together very quickly. And, you know, usually when those kind of things happen, you know, it's a keeper.
Yeah. Because it's the first track on the album, so I was like, maybe he knew, you know.
Well,
or was it not actually supposed to be the first track?
I don't remember any details about that. But,
like
better it be the lead track than the 12th track.
Yeah, right. Yeah. No, I thought that was interesting. Well, and Raise the Roof, and I mean, there's so many other songs on that just resonate and just continue through time.
Thank you. Yeah. A lot of that a lot of that comes down to how much money the label's willing to put towards radio.
Yeah.
Because that's Life Less Ordinary, you know, it was top 5 in AAA, it was top 30 in Hot AC. And it could have gone further, but the label just didn't want to keep putting the money in.
Yeah.
And which was frustrating.
A confluence of events, because the people that picked up Life first started to want like another track, because those stations had been playing it for a long time.
That's true.
And our label didn't have a Hot AC department. So they had to bring somebody on to do that. And then they brought them on, and then they took the same song to Hot AC. So this is all taking time. By the time it really started to get traction at Hot AC, everybody at AAA was like, we're ready for the next song.
Yeah.
And they were like, all right, well, it's this song. And then one of the biggest stations said, no, we want to use this song. So at that point, the whole marketing kind of collapsed, because there was no real like
continuity.
Nobody was on the same page at that point.
Right.
And they'd never had success like that at radio before, so everybody was just kind of running around.
What do we do?
Beaker and the Muppets, you know.
Yeah, right.
You know.
It did feel a little disenfranchised, and you know, I mean, there were several radio station PDs and MDs that were really passionate about the band, and were pretty influential in their AAA community, and they were really lobbying for other station PDs and MDs to spin this song. And it just speaks to how hard it is to get kind of into the system and kind of above all the major labels that are just like, I mean, it's still
Oh yeah,
payola.
pay to play. It's still paid.
And
yeah,
so here
right.
we were, this, basically mostly an unsigned, unheard of band, had this one little thing, on TV and had this small marketing budget from Vanguard Records, and, they did great on that first record, just muscling through, but it really took a lot of the other radio station PDs and MDs to influence their colleagues
Right.
to, spin the band outside of kind of the pre-programmed, thing. So we got very, very lucky and fortunate that all of that kind of worked out enough to give us, a career.
Right.
If not,
right.
all this
or whatever this is.
Yeah.
No, yeah. Well, and I like talking about this too, because what I'm hearing is you took some chances, like you made your own opportunities by opting in, right? By submitting to these things and like talking to those people. And I think what I'm hearing too is you learned a lot from dealing with Vanguard and these other things to then go on to be like, no, we can do this ourselves. And because you know how much hustle it is. Like, it's not easy just because you have a label. That's not how that works, I mean, they take care of some things, but
yeah, I mean, because you have these, troughs where you have a release and then you have a writing period, and when you have such a huge, when you build an infrastructure, to hold that up, you're actually at some point you're holding all that up.
Right.
You become a very top heavy business in those troughs, unless you just have hit after hit after hit after hit.
Right.
And that's how a lot of artists implode. You're like, we got this gas, higher, and then there's that dip. And if you can't take the reins like and adjust right away, you're toast.
Right.
And that's what we did.
Yeah.
We when they offered a fourth album, they weren't really offering anything that we couldn't have done on our own at that point.
Yeah.
And at that point, you're just cross-collateralizing, your debt.
Yeah.
And so we just cut bait.
Right. I think that makes sense. And you get some control back, and
you
some things
give
like
up.
that.
I mean, there's certain things you give up when certain things about a label is great. There's plug and play marketing. You don't have to work. They just have relationships.
Yeah, right.
And it makes that part easy. But the finances just don't really pan out.
Yeah. Right.
So the landscape was shifting too, because we were looking at the numbers and the amount, they basically, one of the big things they do was they did distribution.
Yeah, right.
Which was becoming a very moot point because everything was going digital. We were selling more records live than they were selling, and the numbers just were
don't need
really,
to get the end cap at Borders.
Yeah,
Lyrics music anymore.
They were getting
it's like that was
converted.
a big coup for them. It's like, we got you on the end cap at Borders. And now it's
Right.
like, well, now there's no Borders. There's
No,
no tower. There's no nothing.
So for the
Best
second
Buy doesn't
album,
sell music anymore.
Yeah.
Let's put it that
the
way.
second album, they did this huge video that we just didn't do anything with and spent all this money on. So when we were doing the last one,
Despite the fact that it had Katy Perry in it, by the way.
this is also true. Yeah.
In her underwear.
What?
A little bit in her underwear.
But so
It's tasteful.
Like, depending on how you feel
It was
about it, it's
tasteful.
good. Yeah, tasteful.
for the third album, instead of doing that, we proposed to marketing. We were like, look, give us however many CDs, and we'll, if you buy a ticket to the show, you get the CD. And they were like, are you out of your mind? We're in the business of selling CDs. And I think that's when we were
exactly
like,
what they
all
said.
right, this just isn't going to work.
You're like, oh, we're in the business of wanting people to hear the message.
Like everybody we thought it was just a no-brainer. Everybody through the door gets a new CD. It'd be an amazing marketing opportunity. And they're like,
Absolutely, you lost your mind.
That's, oh God, that's wild. Yeah, this is why I like talking about the process, because you guys got into that, like you said, at a really interesting time of things started going digital and changing.
We've been there when
really.
every keg was kicked in the music industry. Big contracts. We were there.
It was still,
when they
snuck in.
Yeah,
just
Snuck in, snuck out.
We snuck into the party and didn't have to pay for anything. But
right.
yeah, it's been interesting because it's been pretty fluid.
Yeah. Well, but you've still stayed together, and obviously you have some more. I don't mean to be ignoring you, sweet gentlemen.
That's fine.
By the way, but when did you start playing? How recent additions are you? Barry, obviously that question's for you. No, yeah. Go ahead, John or Jesse.
I joined the band in 2008.
Gotcha. That's a long time. In my mind, that's yesterday, and it's absolutely not.
Yeah.
It's been a while.
2017 for me.
Okay, yeah.
We had gone through 5 or 6 bass players in the course of like a year and a half, and we were like really getting nervous because we just weren't finding the guy. And then a buddy of ours from college, as many people do, and I know a guy, and you're like, okay, Steve, thanks. Okay, yeah, sure, send him our info. Well, anyway, he knew John out in Seattle. John flew in and auditioned, and it was like, well, done.
That's the guy.
Yeah.
And then kind of the same thing happened with drumming and going through. At one point we had to find a new guy, and then we're going through again the same thing, and then I think maybe Carter had mentioned Jesse or what?
Remember that
We
every
have
time
to
you
tell
cash that check.
Let's tell the truth.
Okay.
Ooh.
We stole him.
Oh.
We didn't steal him.
No.
We
We totally stole him.
we threw it out there,
It
and
was
he
awesome.
accepted.
We were like, yo, baby, your man ain't treating you right. And he was like, you're right. He ain't treating me right. Like, I know how to treat you. And he was like, you do.
I wasn't aware of this
verbatim,
conversation.
obviously, right?
It's a metaphor.
Exactly how it went down.
So yeah.
Wow.
And of course, so they've been with us. I mean,
for
they
so
are part
long
of the
time.
carbonleaf for a long time.
Yeah.
When you've been together for 32 years, it's like your new drummer has been with us 8 years.
Right, I know. The new guy's only got 8 years. God, 32 years.
And he brings down our age average, which is awesome.
Yeah, right. It's always nice.
A lot.
Yeah.
Which camera's mine?
Yeah.
The one with the red dot.
I'm the young one. Oh my gosh. So how was it learning? I mean, I'm going to look to you because you are the young one growing up. Do you remember their songs? Like, do you remember hearing them on the radio?
Really
And then
ask that question? No,
Wait,
I mean,
what year were you born? Okay,
I mean, I was probably the key demographic when Curious George 2 came out.
yeah.
And
So that's when you first fell in love.
and we had a Dell computer that had the song on it. And I did. A friend did. So I heard that guy telling that story last night, and it's always funny because a friend of mine actually had the Dell computer with the song on it, and that's how I knew the name Carbonleaf.
Wow.
And it was, it wasn't until much later when we were kind of touring in the same circles and stuff where I actually knew who they were. And then John told the rest.
Yeah. Right. And then you recorded and stole it. Yeah.
It was the right time, right opportunity and everything. So it just kind of happened kind of naturally. But it was it's great.
Yeah.
What was the
Well, 'cause
question?
you guys.
It is funny though because we do have songs that these guys have never played, never heard.
Oh, yeah.
Some of these we've done a few shows where we
Deep
do
cuts.
house parties and fans will request really deep cuts if we do like a private party or something like that.
It still happens where I'm like, what song?
Yeah.
is
Like,
that?
can I get an album? Can I get a year?
Yeah,
Anything.
I wouldn't even know. Like, I honestly, I don't
Yeah.
even know if I could tell you which song is on which album. Like,
That's right. You don't have to be a fan of the old stuff.
Yeah.
no, but it's just like
don't
when
even have to be a
when
fan,
you have
just
to
play it
learn
right.
when you have to learn all the stuff.
Yeah, right.
It doesn't necessarily go in that order. You want to like key on like what do I need to know live first and foremost,
this.
and then go deep.
Yeah.
And when we asked, when we reached out, we were needing a replacement, kind of on tour,
Right.
and he's like, yeah, let's do it, and we kind of handed him like 50 songs and said, okay, well, this is kind of the
Here you
stuff
go.
that we're doing on the tour,
Yeah.
and he grinded through it all.
Yeah, I charted it out, and I had an iPad
Yeah.
on stage with me, so I could like kind of know because like, if when you're learning a bunch of songs, everything starts to sound the same.
Yes. Right.
And you don't know, you can't connect the sounds to the name of the tune, and then you hear someone call the name of the tune, and then you have abbreviations on the set list. So
yeah.
you're like, what is OPO? You're like, what is that? And then you have to learn all those little
totally.
things, and then of course over time it's you get it. But
Right. Well, and so this is what I was gonna say is like it's one thing to join the band, but you guys tour all the time, so it's like it's beyond that. You're Reset. But it's like you're signing up to learn these songs, but also be on the road together. I mean, it's a different thing, and you got to be able to work together in close spaces and be not angry at each other all the time when you're tired. And
it's not natural for 7 men to live literally on top of each other like that, but we make it work.
Yeah. No, I find it impressive.
It feels natural now, John.
I mean, it's busy. You're on the road. You don't have a whole lot of time to just like get on each other's nerves, frankly. You just
honestly, with our schedule, because it's 20, we're doing like 28 shows in 30 days on this run. So there's almost no downtime. It's either driving or loading or sound checking or playing
or
and trying to sleep while it's really go.
Yeah. No, but you guys, it seems like you really love it. And, obviously playing live. Some bands, kind of prefer one or the other or both. And I know you kind of talked about that in another interview about how both are really important. And that's how I feel about it. Because the creative process is so cathartic, right? When you are writing and things like that. And then you get to present your babies, your new songs and things like that.
Yeah, you get to, yes. Yeah. I mean, the writing part is getting a new idea is my favorite thing.
Yeah.
And then having that time where you're just, it can be anything you want.
Yeah.
You just got to make sure you're plugged in. And then, and then there is such a big arc, from pre-production and recording and producing and mixing and then, art concept and packaging. And by the time you get through that arc, you're done. You're spent, right?
Oh, yeah.
But you got to go on the road and promote it.
And pretend you've never heard it before.
You have to promote it, and then go on the road. Yeah. And so it is exciting to play, a lot of that. And sometimes it's like deflating because, even your fans, you're just like, I got an email from a guy just a few weeks ago and was just like, sent this just amazing a message about how much he enjoyed Time is the Playground, the new album, that he just listened to it. This is like a year in. He's like a huge fan, but it's like people are busy.
Yeah.
And it's like you just think as soon as we release something, your fans are just going to hang on every word, So we'll be out here playing, the songs off the new album, and I can tell that 10% of the audience knows the words.
Yeah.
And everybody else is just kind of standing there.
Yeah.
It's
and that's shifted.
Kind of heartbreaking.
Yeah. That's shifted in the
it's sort
experience.
of for a band that's 32 years old and has, like we were talking about, Echo Echo and Indian Summer and some of those records that were important to us, but also to our fans that like hit them at that time of their life. So now, like, some of those people that listened to those records then are bringing out their kids or their kids are grown up. Like we grew up with, I grew up on Indian Summer and it's my favorite record. And it's those records hold such a place in time for fans that it's like, I think about that, as a fan, if I were to go see one of my favorite bands, if I were to go see, like, if REM magically got back together and I went to go see them, it's like, I don't want to hear new stuff.
Yeah, I want
to hear the old stuff, buddies. It's like, so that's a fine line between I'm still creative, I'm still making music that I love, so I want to present that to people. Mm-hmm. We want to show them what we're doing now, but we've also got to give them the stuff that they grew up on, the stuff that they love just as much as we love too. It's a fine line between the new stuff and the old stuff.
Stupid.
Yeah. Well, and I was curious because I would say a lot of your songs are generally positive, but I was curious if it's been hard. I mean, is that part of the reason you went back to maybe some older songs? Is it hard to stay positive in tumultuous times? Are you finding it easy to write or harder to write as you go? Also, just knowing how prolific you are. I mean,
Well, I'm not sure how to answer that. I'm not the best at writing headline news songs. It's I mean, who reads a newspaper twice? Right. I want to write a song that people you want to listen to over and over and not have it be. I don't know. I just try to follow my muse and what energizes me, and now I'm more selective about maybe a song that I would choose to write based on is this something I would does this take me to a fun place? And that fun place can still be melancholy or sad or whatever, but it's like, can it take me into a world where I want to like be in this space, every night?
Yeah.
And so that's kind of where I steer from. And I didn't always do that. A lot of times I would just like listen to a piece of music and then, just the first thing that came to mind, which is still a great way to be. But,
yeah, right. Sometimes that's a technique.
So,
Yeah. No, I find it impressive. You still have something to say after all this time.
I don't know. We'll see. This might be done, but we'll see.
No, oh my gosh. No, it's great. Well, I'm really so pleased that you guys would take the time to stop through, and I'm so excited to see you play live again. Of course, I've listened to your music for ages. I don't want to say how long, probably 32 years. And you're just all such a delight to talk to, and I have a lot of admiration for your dedication. I've been playing with my main band for 15 years, so I get it. It's a family and it takes work, but I think you do it in a beautiful way, and you all seem to be still enjoying it. So I admire you for that.
Thank you. I appreciate it.
And thanks for being on In the Round. I want to keep talking to you, but you got stuff to do and places to be. So thanks for coming in, guys.
Do it again.
And all we had is time. Maybe on down the line we'll find the missing pieces as we go. We're taking the slowest road for now. Just let the windows paint the scene. We'll fall into anything. California gold. California gold.
In the Round is produced and recorded at Trilix Studio. Remember to subscribe to In the Round wherever podcasts are found.